that's when people say, "What was your best player played with?" And I played with a lot of good players, and Paul McGrath, just and you can't and people say, "What?" And obviously, people know he's a good player, but the best player you play with, I'd say, yeah.
We have a problem. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah. Do you know what?
You're looking well.
This is. It just.
Say
I
again?
don't mean this badly in any way, shape, or form, but it just makes me feel older than I already am.
I know. There you go. We're all feeling older than we feel. Than we think. Oh dear.
How many years do you reckon? Because I was trying to work out when we last saw each other, and I've just said to my pal who's producing the show today. I was there actually, 94, the League Cup final. I was there, so I saw that, but I wasn't working.
Yeah.
I don't. No, I don't think it's since the olden days, because I don't think our paths crossed.
No, I said that to my wife. I said, I don't think I've seen him since. Obviously, I've seen you on TV and all that kind of stuff, but I just remember you mostly in the olden days.
Yeah.
And sorry, me speaking to you and having conversations and stuff. But I don't remember speaking to you when I went to Villa or when I was at Everton But so I think it was in the early days. Oldham.
Do you know what I think happened was that because when I joined Sky, I had nothing to do with the Midlands when you were at Villa, and when you went to Everton, I was over the other side. I was sort of Leeds, Middlesbrough, Newcastle way. I think that's why we never.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Yeah, but known you for a lifetime, mate.
I know. How's Houston?
Houston's good, mate. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things that have happened over here which you think, wow, this is incredible. But Houston's great. It's a multicultural place. It's a big place. The weather's usually good, but you can have extremes of weather here. It comes on. It can be blisteringly hot. Sometimes when it rains, it's not like a little bit of a rain, and you put your rain. Yeah, you put your raincoat on and you're all right. It absolutely pans it down, and it's a showstopper. It can be a show because and there's amount of times where we've had rain and training's been cancelled because it's been that much, and that's the kind of a regular occurrence because it absolutely it does lash it down when it rains. But then obviously you got Hurricane Harvey, which was I don't think I've ever experienced anything remotely like that. It's just unbelievable. So you just think, and luckily we were safe. But it's just when you're dealing with the elements, there's nothing you can do. I remember like probably the second, third day of Hurricane Harvey. It was like because my experience is you get, even in the UK, you get kind of bad weather. Within a couple of days, it kind of equalizes and things start looking up. So within a couple of days, it just kept going on and on. And it kept going and it kept going. It kept getting worse. And there was no stopping. And when you think, we're just powerless. There's nothing at all anybody in the world can do about this.
Yeah,
it's just going to carry on until it kind of just dissipates. And it was like, wow. And then that's when you kind of, I just thought, wow, this is what can we do? It's like you're a little piece of nothing in a massive world, and you can't stop it. And it was just that was amazing. I mean, amazing is probably the wrong word. Terrifying is probably the right word. But we got through that, and then it's just a case of getting on with the soccer, as they call it over here. But it's all good. It's all good. I mean, enjoying what I'm doing. I'm a director at a club called Rise Soccer Club, and I'm coaching the 17s and the 19s. So it's been good. It's been really good.
I guess the big talking point over there is Deshaun Watson, isn't it? I mean, he's got his hands full, hasn't he? I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I mean, are they? I mean, you've got what? You've got Deshaun, you've got the Rockets, haven't you? Is it a massive? Is it a massive sporting culture? And do you go and see the NFL? Do you go and see the basketball?
So I mean, it's mega expensive to go see games. However, I have seen
how much go and see the NFL?
It's a few $100s.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you might have this is to be in a decent seat, if you know what I mean. You know, so but I mean, luckily one of my friends who I work with at the club, he was in contact with other people, and they had ringside. They had courtside seats for the Rockets. So, you know, luckily I was able to go and do that, and that is just mind blowing. Just so good. I mean, it's just so good, and then you know, you're basically 10 feet away from the players, and this is when, you know, Harding was there, and you know, and CP3, and so it was just great, and you know, it was San Antonio. We beat San Antonio, and it was just an absolutely fantastic experience. Just being there, courtside, looking at the players and how they operate, and it's just they're massive. They're just they're giants. And of course, when you're looking at the TV and you're watching the likes of Harding play, he looks normal size, and the rest look big. But he's big as well. He's like 6'4", and the rest are like 7 foot. So it's just but just great. Just a great experience. I'd love to go and see NFL, but not had an opportunity to do that yet. But obviously, you know, it'll come.
What how's COVID been over there for you? What's it been like? Have you been locked down and what have you?
No, we actually haven't. So let me tell you how it started. So we're a decent sized club. It's not like a professional club. You know, we haven't got a professional team in our ranks, if you like. The aim of a club is really to get to develop players so that they can get a free ride in college, that kind of thing, or university, that kind of thing. So by the time they're 18, 19, we'll have developed them that well that, you know, college coaches are looking at them and they say, all right, son, let's come to my college. We'll you don't have to pay for anything. All tuition fees, everything is paid for. And so basically the kids are looking to unburden their parents on the financial impact of university stroke college. So and you'll get anything from $0 to maximum dollars as regards from colleges, but usually it's between. It's they'll give you, you know, they'll give you something, but you have to pay a little bit for whatever else. So that's how we kind of operate. So we also have, you know, and how we work this is that we got ages from 4 up to 19 basically. And in those teams, in those age groups, we can have anything from 5 teams in that age group, and they're all different levels. So what I'm telling you is because we also are in contact with organisations who help us to get to different countries to play the game and to experience, so the players can experience different cultures, so on and so forth. So this particular time we went to Holland.
I've seen that fine up with
Feyenoord. Yes, yeah. That's right. So and we've got like a bit of a working relationship with them. We went to Holland, and so it was like last, you know, a year in March. And so we went there. We were due to have 10 days there, play a few games, experience, you know, go and see things and experience stuff and watch Feyenoord, so on and so forth. So we managed to watch Feyenoord. and then I played a couple of games, and then COVID hit. It was February, March that COVID hit, and it was like lockdown, and we had to just flee the country. So when President Trump was doing his interview, his kind of talk on what was going to happen with Americans and so on and so forth, we were up that night, and we decided to stay up all night to hear that is because obviously it was gonna. We weren't sure that we were going to get back into the country.
Yeah.
So we had to stay up all night. So we stayed up all night until it was 2:00. His address was, and then we heard his address. We thought, oh, and his address was by Monday. Nobody's going to be able to get back into the country. So this was like a Wednesday. So we thought, oh, we could be in trouble. So basically, we stayed up after the address. It was like, say, at 30 minutes, whatever that was. By 2:30, we'd contacted all the players. There were some parents there as well, and we said we're leaving right now. So by 5:30 in the morning, we're at the airport.
Brilliant.
And luckily, I mean, because of the time difference, people in Holland weren't aware of the gravity of the situation in America. They weren't quite, so we were there 5:30. We were waiting for people to open up, basically. And we were there. We were the first ones there. We waited a long time, but we said, look, this is the situation. We need to get back home because, and they went, oh, okay. And we just went, we've got 26 people in our party. We need new flights. Yeah, okay. Boom, 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 done. And we got back that day. Wow. It was absolutely brilliant. It was absolutely but luckily. And so during that day, I'd imagine people in Holland would have caught up with what had happened in the US. And they'd have gone, oh, and they'd have kind of understood that. That's why loads of people at the airport and so on and so on, because people in Holland, they were asleep when the address was happening, so they weren't quite aware of what all this was about. So we managed. I mean, we managed to cut. So we cut the trip by about 3 days. So we had 7 days there, but we packed a lot in the 7 days. The parents were absolutely delighted we were back home because the alternative was that we weren't going to get back home. So even though, I mean, and then with this, the parents pay. It's not like over there where you go on trips and the club pays and you get a bus which is paid for by the club and all that. No, the parents pay for everything.
Listen, what I've been watching a lot of is I don't know if you've seen it, is various shows called Last Chance U, which is Last Chance University NFL or football, and then I watched the Last Chance U basketball. Don't know if you've seen them, but I guess that's the same kind of thing that you're doing, is it? Where your kids are, or I guess the whole thing is getting them into that college system. And what success have you had? Have you got players good enough to go on and make it into the MLS?
So we've not. We've had one or two kids who've been around it, and there's one kid which escapes me at the moment who's kind of gone on to do better things. But usually our kids are taken early, so we've got no say in what happens with our kids, basically. So you're a professional club. We're not. We have kids, as I say, different age groups. Because we play quite a lot, you've got your scouts, because you've got the resources to have scouts watching our games. You see our players, you approach our players, and you take our players. And we've got no say in it. And all you've got to do is go, here's the here's the MLS badge. What do you want? You want to stay there, or do you want to come to us? And that's what happens. And so, you know, I suppose the answer to that is yes. There's a lot of players that end up from our club into a professional outfit, but whether they go on from there is a different matter.
What's the standard like? What's the standard like? Say, I don't know, the best Houston Dynamo's kids compared to, say, the best West Ham United Academy kids, or best Man City. Well, not he's a bit different, but
there's not a comparison. I think I'm going to say players over here. There's some good players over here, but I'm going to say League One, League Two.
Why? Is it physically? Is it just that they've not been used to the development? Is it the lack of competition? Why?
I mean, being harsh there. Maybe League One, I'd say. Maybe at a push. Maybe some Championship play. No, I think there is competition. I think in some areas there's not the competition that's required. Because of course, for me to be really good at football, I have to be really, really challenged. You know, I can't be playing with people who are at my level. So I'm okay. I can play the game a little bit and blah blah, and I'm decent enough to be recognised. But for me to get better, I can't get better if I'm playing with people who are at my level, because it just becomes a thing that I'm doing. I'm not challenged by what's going on. So so that's kind of it. And over here, clubs like ours, which are they're not, again, a professional outfit, but not a top club. We're a very good club. Call it club teams over, a very, very good club team, and we can compete against MLS teams. But when, you know, and on occasion we'll beat MLS teams, but it's a massive challenge for us as players to compete against them, and so our players are getting a lot out of it. Whereas for the MLS clubs who play us, yeah, they're getting a bit out of it because they have to work really hard, because we set them up, you know, to be difficult to beat and stuff, and we can be competitive. But for the, you know, like for argument's sake, in Dallas, the competition starts from when they're young. As regards, there's leagues, they want to win. You know, yeah, and you know, over there, you know, over in UK, it's development, which, okay, I get why that is, but you still have to have a winning mentality. Yes, development, but you still have to have a winning mentality, and that has to be coached into you, or whatever that is. Over here, Dallas teams, they play to win. So when you play a Dallas team, you're going to get your ass kicked, because they play to win. They've grown up in a culture of play to win. Whereas in other parts of the US, it's not quite like that. Now, California is different. That's a different prospect. You just got an abundance of really, really good players. But in other parts of the US, it's development, and they don't get that they don't quite get the winning thing, or until they're maybe older, a little bit older, which then when at 16, 17, they play a Dallas team, it's like, oh wow, this is different. And they can't quite live up to the level of competition. And so, technically, there's little differences, but it's marginal. But it's the competitiveness. Basically, I know you're what are you, 6'4"? What are you, 6'4"? So little. Say again.
I'm 6'5", but I'm shrinking.
so it's like me, little 5'10", playing against 6'5" Rob McCaffrey. But you've got a ridiculous winning mentality that I've never seen before, and I'm just used to what I'm used to. how on earth am I going to deal with that? Because you're bigger, you're stronger, you're quicker, and I'm okay, but you've got an added mental capacity that I don't know about. So so I just think in a nutshell, I think that's the difference. That's the difference. As well as the technical side, if we're looking at Americans and British people, British soccer players, that's going to be the difference. It's the capacity to compete, and yeah, there's going to be technical differences as well.
Okay, what if you're going for a night out with the family in Houston? Where do you go? What's the night out?
Well, we've got some weird and wonderful names of places over here. So there's a place called Pearland, and there's another place called Sugarland. So Pearland is a newish kind of place, which we like to go. We just have a walk around during the day. But if we went out somewhere, it would be Sugarland, because you've got downtown Houston, which there are nice places, but we don't really frequent those downtown Houston. We usually go to Sugarland, which is a lovely what's Sugarland like? It's like
incredibly unhealthy. Know that Sugarland.
Say again.
It sounds
good. No, it can't be good. No, that's right. No, it's a nice little place, like flipping Knutsford, like a Knutsford type place. Just but not as big, but just a nice little place. Very, just very new. People want to go there. There's shops there. There's restaurants there. So we generally will go there. Have a drive down there. It takes about 30 minutes to get there. You can have you parking's free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you just go there, and there's restaurants there. So we'll go out, have something to eat, have a couple of drinks, and then spend a couple of hours there, have a walk around, and then we're back home. So that's kind of what we do.
What are you settled there? Do you like it? To the fact, I mean, I know your big daughter's just come back to Manchester University, I mean, that must be hard missing her, because this is what we were in. I was in Dubai, and our kids started all that long, and it's hard, and that's why we came back in the end. What are your thoughts? Are you happy staying there, or what? What's the near future for you?
The near future is here. It's here, and the only thing that will take us back is if I got a job over there, and something which is worthwhile, and which I know football over there is a little bit different than here, but at the end of the day, I've got to earn money to feed my family, and over there, what I was doing, I just wasn't earning enough money. Basically, that's what it comes down to. I was earning money, but I'm thinking it's like wage to wage. I'm kind of counting pennies and stuff like that. So you know what I mean. So it'd have to be a decently paid job. It'd have to be that'd be it. I mean, but over here, I'm earning decent money. I'm not. It's not going to make me a millionaire, but I'm earning money where I can put like a couple of dollars away to save and stuff like that. So and of course over here with the education system, it's different. But our kids now have the younger two have got into that system now. They have said.
Do they like it there? Do they prefer it there?
Yes, but they have said, one of them said that, I think I'd like to go back to UK to study. I feel right, okay, right. But so she wants to follow her elder sister, but the younger one has said, and I think I'd like to stay here, which means college. So that means at least another 5 years over here. So I mean, but we'd yes, a job would get me across there, and irrespective of the kids' educational needs, if the job, the right job came available, I'd talk and negotiate, and then if it was right, hey, it's right. Now, if the kids wanted to stay over here, would say, okay, we're going back. You've got a decision to make. We'll fund you over here, but then you've got a decision to make. It was like our eldest. We said, we went to New York to look at colleges in New York, and of course New York's mega expensive. We couldn't afford to pay her to go to college, to pay for her to go to college in New York. But we said, look, if you get scholarships, which you can get a lot of scholarships over here. If you get a scholarship to fund you, hey, go. So we went to New York, took out this small loan to get to New York and to be in New York. Oh my gosh, man! And so did all that nonsense, and then we come back and just said, look, we can't afford it. And so, and of course, she got a quarter in scholarship, and the rest would have to pay. We said, we can't do it. And in the end, the college wasn't right for anyway.
But so, what about you in America though? What would you have an opportunity, and would you apply, or would you not? I'm not saying that you're not happy with your job at the moment, but would you look elsewhere? Are there opportunities in America to move?
What I'd say is, like anywhere, if you're well known and got a few people in certain places, it's going to be easier for you to get jobs.
There can't be that many England internationals doing what you're doing. You must.
Yeah, I just think it becomes it kind of almost doesn't matter until you're in situ. When you're in situ, this is why you're there, because I'm an England international, because of this, because of that, because of experience, blah blah. But to get there, it will have there will be a he's England international. Okay, we should interview him then. There will be that side of it, but it doesn't. It's not the oh yeah, that's a tick. That's a tick. He's in, because like everywhere, it's who you know and with the contacts you have and what's going on in those places. So yes, I'm looking. I'd love to do the pro system over here. Work with older age groups and first teams over here in the pro system. But it's getting those opportunities, and like anywhere else, if you've got someone in there, you get an opportunity. If you haven't, then you're relying on a little bit of luck and a little bit of me being insistent on doing something to get to those places,
What as you as a coach, as a British coach, do you coach differently? Is the style differently to what the Americans are looking for?
No, I won't say it's different. I'd say the same things that happen. I think people in football think, professional football think, people in football any level think that what happens at recreational level or a lower level doesn't happen at a higher level. It does. It's just the pace. And it's just, the people at high level have the capacity to do more with what they've got. At lower level, they're just limited. So for argument's sake, you're still going to be attacking and be in one goal mouth, but have to recover because the other team have just got the ball and they're attacking your goal mouth. Same thing happens.
You could do that. That was it. Listen, hang on. I've got to ask you. I ask everybody this. Okay. Best player you played with?
Best player played with.
Tell you what, you played with some. I was doing the study. Some amazing team. That Oldham, we'll talk about it. The Oldham thing was unbelievable. But when you look at that Villa team that won the cup, you've got Paul McGrath. Your back four was Steve Staunton, Sean Teal, Paul McGrath, and you with Mark Bosnich in goal. Andy Townsend in midfield.
I know.
Ray Houghton couldn't get in the side.
So you mentioned the player there.
That's me talking. I should ask you. Go on. Best player
you mentioned the player there. That's when people say, "What was your best player played with?" And I played with a lot of good players, and Paul McGrath just and you can't and people go, "What Paul McGrath?" And obviously people know he's a good player, but the best player you play with, I'd say and it's because of.
What age was he when you were signed for Villa? What age would Paul have been then when you were playing with him? Was he must have been getting on a bit then, was he?
He'd been in early 30s.
Yeah, and he always had dodgy knees, didn't he, and all that.
Yeah, dodgy. But that's what made that's why I say he was the best player, because he had the so-called dodgy knees. He never used to train. He'd train on so we'd play a game on a Saturday. We'd be off on a Sunday. We'd come in Monday. He wouldn't train. Wouldn't train Tuesday. Wouldn't train Wednesday, or we'd be off Wednesday. We'd come in Thursday, do a little bit. Come in Friday, do a little bit. He'd come out with us to go through team play on Friday. On Thursday, he'd go on a bike in the gym. That's his training session for the whole week. But then he'd come out on a Saturday and be the best player. And Paul McGrath was he was like 6'3", 6'4", but big guy. He was just I don't know, just a big guy, and he could sprint quicker than anybody. And so, but he was a gentle giant off the park. He's quietly spoken. Not the guy. The guy you see on the field is not the guy you see off the field. He's just a different kind of animal. And but yeah, I mean, he was the best player I played with, but just because of his limited training, and he'd come out. I never saw him got tired in the game. So you talk about his fitness. His fitness must have been through the roof. Just his own natural fitness.
Okay, best player you played against?
There's a few. I mean, so you look at Cantona's one, Giggs another one, Ian Wright was another one. You've got all these great players, Scholes, Keane. I mean, that United lot, Beckham. That United flipping that lot. You can put that lot into the fixture. Then your foreign players. I mean, Bergkamp I played against, Overmars I played against, Karl-Heinz Riedler I played against. So there's just a lot of players. I don't know how I'd go. Yeah, that's the best. I don't know how I do that. I really don't. They all give me problems. They all like I say, challenge me. But I just remember in those days, I used to love playing against those names, because it means that yeah, I've arrived a little bit, but I don't mean arrive, but it means that okay, you've got a job on your hands today. You better be good. And I'd relish that challenge. It was just great. It's just to me. So to me, and this is what I mean about the mentality. So I've got to relish the challenge of wanting to do that. I can't be going, oh no, and be a shrinking violet. That's the time to go, oh, brilliant, let's go. And knowing that, yeah, I know that this guy in front of me, whatever his name is, could kick my ass today. But you know what? Hey, yes, let's go. I can't be turning away from that. And that's to me, that's what I see a few players doing particularly in the levels that I'm playing, that I'm with. I see, some of the players, they're a little bit, we're playing like FC Dallas, Houston Dynamo, a team called Solar over here. When we play those teams, we've got good players, but some of our good players go, they're the best teams, and so our players go, I don't know about this. Instead of going, all right, let's go. I'm looking forward to this.
Best manager?
Best manager. I can't split it, but it's going to be Joe Royle and Ron Atkinson.
Do you keep in touch with them?
Yes, through kind of social media. So and when I was coming over here, I had to get reference letters and stuff like that. And over the years, I've kept in touch with Joe and kept in touch with Ron, and you know, so I've got the reference letters from him, and he said, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm going to America and all that kind of stuff. So we just kept in touch, and every now and then I'll drop him a line. What are you doing? What are you up to? Blah blah blah. But it's not, you know, and that's it. That's it. You know, so we always kept in touch with them. Just great people to be around, and I think Joe. Well, he was doing stuff for Everton. And Ron, he does around doing his talks and all that kind of stuff, lively as ever. but no, yeah, I do keep in touch. Yeah.
Were they managers or did they coach? Or what were the skills? I can't see. I also saw Willie Donachie coaching with. You know, I know Ron really. I know Joe really well. You know, Ron, they seem to be man managers rather than. I think would that be fair to say? Skill.
Yeah. What I'd say is, you know, Ron was probably best known for his man management skills and how he dealt with players and him being a bit of a singer and a bit of a charisma and all that kind of stuff. But you know, he knew the game as well, and you know, and I think you know, people will put people in the box, you know, so you know, pigeonhole them. And you know, Ron Atkinson. They don't talk about his tactical knowledge. They just talk about him being a man management guy, and that's it. You know, and I say similar, but less so for Joe Royle. I think Joe Royle was more of a manager than perceived a manager than Ron. You know, so Joe was yes, he managed the players. Yes, he had the technical knowledge. Did he coach? He was always there at coaching, but it was wrong. But you knew that Willie Donachie did the sessions, and he kind of got us at it. But the manager was always there and put his 2 pence in. But these guys, I mean, you know, Joe was as a manager was a guy who he would man manage because he had to. You had people like Ian Marshall and Nick Henry and Mike Milligan and Rick Holden, who you got to manage them in a certain way. You really have Andy Rhodes. You can't just manage them like just they're individuals. You got to manage them a certain way. So I think, yeah, and even what I'm doing, you manage players a certain way. You can't. Everybody's not the same. You know how they operate. You got to put your arm around people and yell at people and then you just got to, and the more you do, the more you kind of know, and the more you kind of understand players and what they need and how you need to. Sometimes I know that I've got to with the players that I deal with. I've got to get them angry, so I pretend to be angry with them. What are you doing? You should be there. And I'm screaming at them, get that done. And I'm doing this to make them, and they start, yeah, but I didn't, it wasn't my fault because this, and I don't say anything. But I know because I've got them in that state, all right, it'll be all right now. And so I'm doing that. I don't tell them why I'm doing it. I just get them angry because I know they need to be in that state to play well. So that's. But you kind of as you coach and you do it, you kind of learn about different people's characters and what it means. Some people you can't do it to because they'll go under. They are done, But other people you have to get into them because it's just, and they don't know that. They actually don't know that. They just, but you know what? Some people play angry. They're at their best. If they don't, they're just not quite as effective. So, and Ron and Joe will like that, and they manage people differently, but they had a good kind of tactical knowledge as well.
Hey, do you know what?
Go on.
Thanks.